I stumbled upon one such account recently. An article written by an unknown author who claimed that they had been hired as a caregiver for a wealthy recluse named Jasper Sawyer some years back. According to them, while working at Mr. Sawyer's estate, they overheard conversations alluding to a family secret so sensitive that anyone caught divulging any details would meet an untimely death. Intrigued, and admittedly curious, I decided to look further into the matter by visiting the residence myself. My intention was not just to find out more. I aimed to uncover whatever secrets lay hidden within those walls. If nothing else, perhaps my discovery could serve as warning to others seeking employment from the rich and powerful. Upon arrival, I immediately noticed something odd. The once grandiose manor now looked like a decaying mausoleum. Vines snaked up the sides of the structure, and weeds clambered through cracks in the cobblestone driveway leading up to the house. Clearly, no visitors have come here in quite some time. But I wasn't deterred. I pushed open the gate and stepped onto the porch before ringing the bell. To my surprise, there was no need to wait for an invitation inside. When I turned around after pressing the doorbell, I saw the front door was already wide open. Puzzled but intrigued, I took a deep breath and ventured farther into the darkness beyond the entrance hall. And then things became truly strange. As soon as my eyes adjusted to the dim lighting inside, I heard chanting coming from down below. Following the sound led me to a cellar, where candles flickered on rough stone walls, carved with symbols etched in blood. There I saw 5 figures cloaked in black robes, each surrounded by arcane instruments littered across makeshift altars. They were performing some sort of dark ceremony centered on a bound figure lying prone on one of the tables, his arms stretched out in supplication towards the ceiling. Upon closer examination, I realized it was none other than Jasper Sawyer himself. Panicked, I tried to back away slowly, hoping against hope I couldn't shake off the image of poor Alice as she walked towards her demise, even though I knew full well that she wouldn't actually die during these sacrifices. At least not physically. No amount of logic could calm my racing heartbeat. So I did the one thing I knew I should never do. I followed her lead. "Alice," I whispered. She stopped mid-stride and swiveled her head to face me, her expression cold as ice. Without hesitating, she signaled to one of the hooded figures standing guard near us. Before I could react, he grabbed hold of me roughly, dragging me forward until I stood mere inches away from Alice. She studied me closely, as if assessing whether I posed enough of a threat to warrant immediate extermination. After a tense moment, she spoke in clipped tones. "You mustn't interfere with our work here." Her voice held a hint of disappointment. Without knowing why, I replied bluntly, "But you yourself don't seem particularly enthused about participating in these rituals either, Alice." Her eyebrows shot upward at my comment, betraying her surprise. "And how dare you presume to know about my private thoughts? You're lucky I don't report your insolence directly to Father." Her tone grew menacing. I quickly retorted, "I meant no disrespect, only curiosity stemming from the fact that in all the time spent underneath this roof, I haven't seen you take part in any of these rites yet." It felt like every set of eyes present suddenly focused solely on Alice, waiting anxiously for her reaction. After a pregnant pause, she inclined her chin slightly and addressed everyone assembled, including herself. "Very well, then," she declared firmly, turning to face her siblings next. "Since someone has brought it up, I suppose it's finally time that I reveal my own personal truth." With great reluctance, she pulled aside the hood covering her face. Her piercing gaze met mine again. Gasps echoed throughout the room as it dawned on the group that one among them didn't adhere to the tradition of remaining anonymous. The atmosphere shifted significantly when I announced my plan for escape. At first, uncertainty colored the mood. Then gradually fear spread amongst the prisoners like a contagion. It only made sense. Even if my risky proposal succeeded, what awaited us outside remained unknown. Would we be met with capture or worse? Or would freedom prove attainable despite the obstacles stacked against us? These questions hung heavy in the air as people mulled over their choices. For several long moments, no one said a word, too immersed in their individual deliberations to engage in conversation. Eventually, the silence broke, one person at a time. Some expressed doubts regarding the viability of our proposed scheme, while others voiced enthusiasm for making a bid to break free. A few chose to remain neutral, unwilling to commit themselves fully to either option without more information. The debate raged on for hours, carried far into the night as tempers flared and passions ran high. Tempers occasionally boiled over, but whenever matters threatened to escalate, Nigel intervened, reminding participants that unity and cooperation offered our best chance at success. As the evening wore on, we hashed out strategies, considered potential pitfalls, and analyzed variables that might influence our chances of escape. Eventually, exhaustion began claiming many of us, and attention wavered. People drifted off to rest, conserving energy for whatever challenges tomorrow might bring. Weary as I was, sleep eluded me, filled as my mind remained with visions of the outside world, pondering what the future held in store. Would success crown our efforts, or was disaster looming just beyond the horizon? All too soon, the answers would arrive, ready or not. When morning arrived, our ragtag collective prepared itself mentally and emotionally for the journey ahead. Everyone played their assigned roles, honing skills required to give us the best chance possible at breaking free. Anxiety kept us sharp, motivated, as we neared the critical hour. Soon, there'd be no turning back. Under the cover of darkness, we crept through the winding corridors of the decrepit mansion. Each step was calculated, every creaking floorboard carefully avoided. The air was thick with tension as we made our way toward the front entrance. We moved swiftly but silently, hoping to catch the guards off guard and escape before they had a chance to react. As we reached the grand foyer, our hearts sank. The door that had been wide open the previous day was now securely locked. Panic gripped us as we realized that our escape plan might have just hit a major obstacle. We desperately searched for an alternative route, but time was not on our side. Just as despair began to settle in, a soft voice broke through the silence. It was Alice. She stood in front of the hidden panel, a knowing smile playing on her lips. With a deft movement, She pushed the panel aside, revealing a hidden passage behind it. "Follow me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. We hesitated for a moment, unsure if we could trust her, but the allure of freedom was too strong to ignore. One by one, we filed into the narrow passage, our hearts pounding with both fear and hope. The passage twisted and turned, leading us deeper into the bowels of the mansion. It felt like an eternity before we finally emerged into a moonlit clearing outside. The cool night air filled our lungs, and for a brief moment we reveled in the taste of freedom. But our celebration was short-lived. The sound of alarm bells pierced the night, echoing through the surrounding woods. We knew we had to move quickly, or our escape would be in vain. Alice took charge, guiding us through the dense forest with uncanny precision. It was as if she knew the way, as if she had made this journey before. We followed her lead, our adrenaline fueling our every step. As we ran, branches scraped against our skin, and the ground beneath us became treacherous. We stumbled, but we pressed on, the urgency of our escape propelling us forward. Hours passed, and the moon began to fade from the sky. Exhaustion threatened to overtake us, but we couldn't afford to stop. Finally, we reached the outskirts of a small town where we sought refuge in the shadows. Gathered together in an alleyway, we caught our breath and assessed our situation. We were free, but we were also fugitives, hunted by those who sought to keep their dark secrets hidden. We knew we couldn't stay in one place for long. Alice approached me, her eyes filled with a mix of gratitude and determination. "Thank you," she said softly. "You gave us hope when we had none." I nodded, unable to find the words to express my own gratitude. Together we made a pact to protect each other, to stay hidden, and to never let the secrets of Jasper Sawyer's mansion fall back into the wrong hands. And so we scattered, disappearing into the night, leaving behind a world of darkness and uncertainty. But we carried with us the knowledge that we had escaped a fate worse than death, and that we had the power to expose the truth. In the years that followed, we worked tirelessly to uncover the secrets hidden within the mansion's walls. We gathered evidence, shared our stories, and exposed the horrors that had taken place under the guise of power and wealth. The revelations sent shockwaves through society, exposing a network of corruption that reached far and wide. The truth became a rallying cry, and those responsible for the atrocities were brought to justice. As for Alice, she disappeared as mysteriously as she had entered my life. Some say she went into hiding, forever haunted by the darkness she had escaped. Others believe she continued her fight for justice, working behind the scenes to ensure that the powerful were held accountable. But whatever became of her, I will always be grateful for the role she played in my own journey. She showed me the true meaning of courage, resilience, and the power of standing up against the darkest of secrets. And as I look back on that fateful night, I am reminded of the power that lies in our hands. We all have the ability to shine a light on the shadows, to expose the truth, and to bring about change. It is a responsibility that we must never take lightly, for the secrets we uncover may just be the key to our collective liberation. For just $3 a month, you can have your name featured in my YouTube videos and descriptions. Not only will you be supporting my channel, but you'll also be immortalized in the credits of my content. If you're looking for something a bit more personalized, consider becoming a $25 a month patron. I'll voice your stories and bring them to life on my channel. Create a special drawing just for you, or even write a unique story tailored to your interests. So don't hesitate. Join my patron community today and help me keep the spooky stories coming. And remember, together we can save each other from the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for your support.